actually in a different chair today. The reason is that this person here, this one, decided to sit in my computer chair, so I had to switch the chairs around. And he is a typical cat. In other words, when I moved the chairs around, he didn't move. He just carried on lying there. Hey, it's okay. Move me wherever you want. It's fine. So that's how cats are. Dogs, no, they're different. And we have both. So there you are then. Yesterday I incorrectly titled the reading as the 14th of July. It's not. It was the 13th of July. Today's reading really is for the 14th of July. I'm not sure what I make of today's reading, to be honest with you. Actually, we got quite a decent plug this morning. Creative Life's service, as it was actually on Facebook Live. It appeared at 11 o'clock, and it was just our meditation, an introduction, meditation, some announcements, and then Reverend Jesse giving about a half an hour talk, 25, 30-minute talk. And he gave us a plug. He gave a plug for these readings, actually, for the Josh Reeves writings for this whole month. He gave it a big plug. So there we are. So we, or at least Josh Reeves, has an endorsement for what he wrote for this month. Do I have an endorsement for my readings? I don't know, but there you are then. All I can say is I do my best. And that, to me, is good enough. And that's kind of in line with today's reading, which is a rather strange title called I Couldn't Have Failed Without You. I couldn't have failed without you. First quote is from Roberto Benigni. I had to look him up. He's an Italian film personage. He's quite well known. He actually was the first actor to get Best Actor award for a non-English speaking movie. So there you are. He says, it's a sign of mediocrity when you demonstrate gratitude with moderation. In other words, don't hold back your praise and your thanks. Ernest Holmes simply says the power in you is you, and he capitalizes power. The power in you is you. And that's from This Thing Called Life on page 83. Actually quite a well-known publication of Ernest Holmes. And this is Reverend Josh being vulnerable and honest. He says, 2 years into my ministry, I saw myself as a failure. I started a Sunday gathering designed for younger people and agnostics at the Improv Comedy Club at the Spectrum Mall in Irvine, California. We experienced some mixed success, but the endeavor left me broke. Apparently, hosting a church for the unchurched isn't the best business model. My vision had not been realized. I toasted a friend and a board member at an Irish pub later that day and said, thank you, I couldn't have failed without you. Now you know where the title came from. Months later, I was working as an assistant minister and was still down on myself. I was reading Viktor Frankl, whom we quoted the other day, and Spirit said through him, to me, don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Maybe. I took my vision board down and decided to focus only on doing a good job at being a minister that day. Then he says, Spirit, I just wanted to do a good job and serve as many people as possible. Unquote. It wasn't long before I was called by Reverend Dr. Peggy Price to Seal Beach, California, where I served for 7 years. Then came a call from Roger Teal to serve at Mile High. He says, today as I rise, I have one focus, to do a good job. Spirit can take care of the rest. Well, he is doing a good job. When I was in ministerial school, he talked about his time at Seal Beach, California. He went into some detail about it. And at that time, he had moved to Mile High Church, which is in Lakewood, Colorado. It's just outside of Denver. It's one of those mega churches. Roger Teal was still in charge at the time, and he and his predecessor built it up from just like a regular church into a mega church. And Roger Teal, it transpired, was thinking of retiring, and he brought over Reverend Josh Reeves to serve as a co-senior minister when he retired, which transpired. So he's now one of the co-ministers there. But getting back to his message here, I think the message to me is this: just do your best and let the rest up to whatever you believe may be greater than we are. So just do your best and let go. You know, the old expression is used by religious and non-religious people alike, which is let go and let God. In other words, you do your best, you let go, and then whatever authority is out there takes care of the rest, or life, if you like, just takes care of the rest. And I personally think that success is just making the attempt in the first place. So next week, when I do my talk at Creative Life Spiritual Center, I am going to do my best. What people think of it is going to be entirely up to them, but I will do my best, and I'll leave it at that. So that's the message that comes out to me today. It's really a simple message. It's simply, don't aim for success, just aim to do the best job you can. And then just leave the rest up to whatever. Leave the rest up to fate, if you like. So, and I think it's a good advice for anything. And I think it's got one big advantage, because if you go into something just aiming at success, I really have to succeed about this, then often what you concentrate on is success and not the actual thing you're doing. I don't know what Olympic athletes and others do, and I'm saying that because we're coming up to the Olympics right now. It's actually going to take place in Paris this month, or France anyway, I think mostly in Paris. But I guess what they do is they just do their best. You know, they can. I have been told that these super athletes, what they do is they compete against themselves. Excuse me. Yes, they're competing against other people. People like Simone Biles is, I think, just trying to be the best person that she can be at whatever gymnastics event she's taking part in. And I'm using her because she comes from pretty close to here. She comes from Spring, Texas, and technically the Woodlands township is within Spring, Texas. So what do you think? Does it encourage you to say, well, if I'm not concentrating on success, I'm just concentrating on doing my best, does it open the door for me to do more things? And I think the answer must be yes. It actually takes away any fear about trying something in case we do the opposite, which is fail. You know, there's success, there's failure. But I think success is just the very idea of making the attempt. And guess what? The only way that we ever learned to do anything as kids was through making mistakes. The way that you learn to walk was by falling down. And technically, every time you walk, you actually do fall forward. Life is good at instruction if we will let it be. In other words, you do something, it doesn't work. Guess what? You look at it and think, well, do I want to continue with this? And if so, what other ways there to do this? So I think it's a pretty simple message. I don't think it needs a lot more explanation. The affirmation says, today I focus on doing whatever is before me to the best of my ability. I think that's a great affirmation. Today I focus on doing whatever is before me to the best of my ability. I'll let Spirit take care of the rest. I'll let Spirit take care of the rest. I let life take care of the rest, if you like. I'll let the divine take care of the rest. Whatever works for you. Take a deep breath. Now, what I encourage you to do every single day, and this, when I say you, I mean us, what I encourage all of us to do every day is think of something that you did that you enjoyed doing that day. Just one thing. What did you do that you enjoyed doing that day? And that in itself is success, because you've really got something out of it. What's one thing that you did today that makes you feel good? I know one thing that I did. I actually have been behind on some work in transcribing some videos into words, and I got stuck in earlier today, and I did a chunk of it, and I feel good about myself for having done that. So what is the one thing that you have done today or in the last 24 hours that makes you feel good about yourself? And it can be something really tiny. It can be something tiny, like, well, I got up early this morning. I went outside. I got the newspaper, brought it in. Whatever it is, just one small thing. Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning. She is back in action. She'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Oh, and the funny thing was that when she and I talked yesterday, when we were trying to put the final touches on getting the recording ready for her to do of Reverend Jessie yesterday and then transmit it today, she said, guess what? It really didn't matter me having a break in my readings, because all I do when I start again, and she started again yesterday, I think, or anyway, or maybe she's starting today, is pick up where I left off, because she's reading from the Science of Mind textbook, which is actually over here, and she's just picking up where she left off. She doesn't have to mess around with days and dates like I did. And I have been thinking earlier this week, one time when it could be good for Reverend Lisa, as opposed to me doing these daily readings, is when there's a break like this, because she really does just have to pick it up again from where she left off. And that's it. So 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, please consider our class. Our class is on spiritual mind treatment, which is otherwise known as affirmative prayer. It's a great way to start to change your life. So with that, I'm going to say namaste, and I will see you next time.